together. Our businesses are winning, and our families are thriving. Because Kentucky is a place where business is fast, but the pace of life is just right. We found the way to create a brighter future by working together, by leading with our values of kindness and hard work. Now, we're looking at a new Kentucky, one where good jobs and a good life are possible for everyone. Y'all interested? We don't blame you. So come explore your new Kentucky home. Hey everybody, it's Andy. It has been an exciting couple of weeks and we've welcomed a lot of new followers and friends. We hope you'll stick around because we've got great things going on in Kentucky. We've broken every economic development record. We're creating better jobs at higher wages, bringing healthcare to all corners of our Commonwealth. We are taking our place as a national leader, and we can't wait to share all the good news with each of you. So once again, stick around, invite your friends. Let's create a better Kentucky. Let's create a better United States of America. My name is Andy. Hi, it's nice to meet you. And I am so excited to come here today with such a special group because each and every one of you is really special. You know that? You are. Every single one. Across the nation, the opioid epidemic continues to devastate communities and families, with fentanyl taking a deadly toll. We've lost too many parents, children, relatives, and friends. All are children of God taken far too soon. The good news is there's hope. We've worked hard to boost access to treatment while also reducing the stigma around asking for help. We've made a lot of progress, but we still have a long way to go, and I'm confident we'll get there. December 10th, 2021, worst tornado disaster in our history. But as this couple, Andrew and Charity, just mentioned to me, that they love that this is happening today because God has taken a day that was so difficult for them and turned it into something special, turned some tragedy into triumph, and has delivered this amazing new home through people who do God's work each and every day. I want to thank the thousands of people that donated after this tornado. They brought in $52 million of charitable funds. $100,000 of it is in this house right here. People caring about people, living out the golden rule, living out the parable of the Good Samaritan, and just doing the Lord's work and helping each other. To Andrew, who's got the best first name in the business, and to Charity, we want to provide you the keys to your new Kentucky home. Congratulations. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah, which is coming up. I'm Andy, and welcome to this week's Team Kentucky Update. Today, I am excited to recap an amazing year we've had on the economic development front as we continue to reintroduce ourselves to the world with our new Kentucky home, one where the pace of business is as fast as anywhere, but the pace of life is just right. And before we get to that full recap, we have at least three new significant announcements today to add to a stellar year. Moments ago, we announced one of the largest job creation projects in the Commonwealth since the start of my administration. Kitchen Food Company, an Australian founded premium ready meals business, is locating a new world class prepared foods facility in Hopkinsville. This project includes a $69 million investment that is creating an amazing 925 new full time jobs for Kentuckians. This project marks the largest job creation announcement in Christian County in over 2 decades and is the fifth largest job creation project statewide since I took office. Today's announcement is a great reminder that Kentucky's economic momentum is not only here to stay, but the Commonwealth is open and ready for business from companies all over the world. I want to thank Christian Avramides and Daniel Borenstein of Kitchen Food Company for choosing and believing in our great state. We've been talking to these two gentlemen for the better part of a year to make this deal happen. They believe in us in Kentucky. And so we want to welcome Kitchen Food Company to their new Kentucky home. This morning, we're also highlighting Nexigen Communications, an IT firm specializing in cybersecurity and cloud services. Nexigen is expanding its presence in Campbell County. This is a $4.35 million investment that's creating 75 jobs with at least 43 of those positions reserved for Kentucky residents. New roles will include those skilled in artificial intelligence, IT security, management, and software development. The expansion will bring the company's total employment to 136, its statewide employment currently 78. This is a great investment for the Campbell County community and will provide dozens of quality job opportunities for the area's residents. I want to thank Nexigen Communications for expanding their new Kentucky home, and we're excited to have them in Northern Kentucky. Finally, last week we announced another exciting step forward for Kentucky's agritech industry as Bosch Berries, an international grower and distributor of bell peppers, blackberries, and strawberries, celebrated the grand opening of a new greenhouse in Pulaski County. The company's investing nearly $50 million and will create 28 full-time Kentucky jobs. This is a significant step for Bosch Berries as the company opens its first operation in the United States at its new Kentucky home in Somerset. I want to thank the company's leadership for this incredible investment and for most of Kentucky. You can find this in the grocery stores in which you shop. So that's Bosch berries that'll have been made and grown right here at an indoor grow facility in Kentucky. I'm also proud to note today that Kentucky's once again earned a strong placement in a ranking released by Site Selection magazine. The publication recently named its top U.S. foreign trade zones, with Louisville and the Jefferson County Riverport Authority placing number 10 in the entire country. This ranking shows what we already know, that Kentucky has gone global. You think about last year, us breaking the all-time exports record with over $40 billion of goods shipped around the world. So congratulations to Louisville and the Jefferson County River Authority. Thank you for making Kentucky look good. Thank you for making it easier to ship goods all over the world. We have some more exciting news as Kentucky has achieved another milestone in tourism. I'm happy to announce that over the course of this year, 10 new tourism development projects were approved, and they're going to bring in an estimated $256 million in economic investment. And the projects are expected to create approximately 1,696 jobs. This is the most tourism projects approved in a single year since this incentive was created in 1996. A little bit of history. One of the names behind this project as it became legislation was a guy named Rocky Atkins, who still, we're going to get good projects approved today. When added to the economic development numbers that we'll talk about over the course of the year,
we'll have announced over 11,100 new Kentucky jobs between economic development and tourism just in 2024. The 10 projects include TKC Hospitality Group in Woodford County, Pennyroyal Barrel Company in Adair County, Maker's Mark Distillery in Marion County, M&T Development in Livingston County, LSC Stadium Company, that's the new soccer team and stadium in Fayette County, Louisville Pickleball in Jefferson County, Keeneland Association in Fayette County, Franklin Devco in Franklin County, and Dossie Vineyards in Warren County. So thanks to all these businesses that have chosen, again, Kentucky as their new Kentucky home, each is going to draw visitors that can see everything that's amazing about living here, about what we can do in our free time here, the memories that we make, what our way of life is like. And then they can choose to move here and move their businesses here and move their families here and help us grow in this really special moment in time. Speaking of what's so special about Kentucky, I'm also excited to announce the launch of the 2025 official Kentucky Visitor's Guide. Kentucky has something for everyone. And this gives folks a way to look at what they can explore in our new Kentucky home. From regional trip ideas and travel trips to a map highlighting Kentucky as a premier destination, not just to visit, but to live, to work, and to have fun, the guide has it all. Beginning January 1st, the new guide will be available at all Kentucky Welcome Centers across the Commonwealth. Folks can also request a free copy or view an interactive version at kentuckytourism.com. Given these announcements today, we're at a point where I can now officially provide an end of year recap. We are now projecting that 2024 will be the fourth best year in Kentucky's history for new investment through economic development. That means since I became governor, we'll have had the first, second, and fourth best years in our history, which means our economy is on fire, that we're creating new, great jobs and jobs of the future, that Kentucky has become a premier destination for our business. We've all wanted this for so long. We all love Kentucky and our home, and now other people are seeing it. Finally, the rest of the world's looking up to us instead of looking down on us. It is a special time to be a Kentuckian. The projections now for 2024 are that on the economic development side, we'll have secured $6.9 billion in new private sector investment and added 9,425 jobs. That's through economic development alone. If you add the 1,696 jobs and the $256 million through the tourism tax credit program, that's over 11,000 new jobs and over $7.25 billion in new investment. This year, we've seen some historic investments that help make up these numbers. We announced the third largest jobs announcement of our administration, with Shelbyville Battery Manufacturing coming to Shelby County. This company will build an innovative, state-of-the-art industrial battery production facility. It's creating 1,572 Kentucky high-skilled, high-tech jobs that's going to lead us into the industrial electrification space. This is also the largest project in Shelby County history. The largest dollar investment of the year was with Toyota, investing another $922 million to build an advanced paint facility at its plant in Georgetown. This was the second announced investment by Toyota during the year. Remember, our Georgetown plant is their largest manufacturing facility anywhere in the world. And Toyota has shown its continued commitment to growing jobs there and to keeping it as a state-of-the-art, top-of-the-line facility. We cut the ribbon on the largest economic development project in West Louisville in over 20 years. Stellar Snacks, a maker of gourmet pretzel snacks, made a $137 million investment that's bringing 350 full-time jobs to West Louisville. And it was a big year for West Louisville. When you look at all the different announcements from that to the hospital, which we'll talk about in a minute, to Goodwill Industries, we've announced over 1,000 new jobs in West Louisville in the past year alone. We just announced the largest jobs announcement in more than 2 decades in Christian County, with Kitchen Foods creating 925 new jobs. This year, we opened the center that will train Kentuckians for the new jobs at Blue Oval SK Battery Park, which will ultimately create 5,000 new jobs. 750 Kentuckians have already been hired, and the park at Glendale will be the 2 largest battery plants in the world. Just this week, we were in Grayson with AT&T celebrating 115 new jobs in their call center, and they announced they will hire at least that many in the coming year. The good jobs keep coming, as proven by the average incentivized wages for this last year being over $26 an hour. That means for the first time in our history, for 3 straight years, the average incentivized wage for the new jobs we announced have been over $26. That's never happened in Kentucky's history, and it shows we're not just bringing jobs, but good jobs that can support a family. We've now, like we said, we've now secured the first, second, and fourth best years for economic investment in our history. These moves have led us to being the first administration ever to be upgraded by all three major credit rating agencies. Moody's happened just this year, and they noted our booming economy as much as they noted any other factor. We also broke tourism records in 2022 and 2023. I'm already confident 2024 will be our best year ever for tourism, meaning we'll have had our best years back to back to back. Pretty exciting for the Commonwealth. I mentioned that we also broke the export record. We announced New Kentucky Home, a strategic initiative to further drive economic investment, attract and retain talent, and increase tourism across the Commonwealth. Our job is to make sure that we are meeting our people's needs. And when you think about those, you first think about jobs, and that's a whole lot of jobs to talk about. But then we think about our next doctor's appointment, which is healthcare. When it comes to healthcare, I'm proud of this year. First, we opened the first hospital in West Louisville in 150 years. We opened a new U of L campus in Bullitt County. We're opening two hospitals outside of Lexington. We announced the St. Clair and UK partnership in Moorhead. We reopened Bellefonte's Hospital Psychiatric Center, which had been closed for a period of time. This year, I also signed a bill into law, which, among other things, took the important step of moving up the timeline for medical cannabis business licensing to try to get that important medicine and relief available, especially to folks like veterans suffering from PTSD, that much sooner. This year, when it comes to education, we welcomed Dolly Parton to celebrate Kentucky's statewide expansion of Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, which is now available in all 120 counties, which can provide every Kentucky child, birth up to age 5, with one free book per month. But currently, folks, only 48% of the eligible kids are signed up for it. Now, first, that sounds great. That's a ton of kids. But this is a free book every month to all of our kids that age. So I implore you, before the end of the year, let's get over half. And then next year, let's push even harder. I mean, this is learning. This is a love for reading. This is something that can enhance the lives of all of our Kentucky kids that, thanks to Dolly and the state working with Dolly, is entirely free for our families. And important in education, we defeated Amendment 2 this year, which made it clear that Kentuckians overwhelmingly want us to work to improve public education and never send public dollars to private schools. When it comes to improving Kentucky's lives through new infrastructure, we've now announced projects that will connect or are connecting 80,000 homes to high-speed internet in 65 counties. In total, we've now secured more than $2 billion in federal, state, and private dollars that will help connect every home across the Commonwealth. We celebrated a $73 million federal loan to make Kentucky a national leader in small-scale hydroelectric plants using abandoned lock and dam structures on the Kentucky River. The first one, which will be the most sophisticated small-scale hydro project in the country, is going into Estill County right now. And we secured $116.3 million in grants to speed the completion of the Mountain Parkway expansion. This funding unlocked another $150 million that ought to help us get that project done sooner to build the McGoffin to Floyd segment. Each segment of the Parkway, for the first time ever, every section of the 4-laning of the Mountain Parkway is either completed, under construction, or under contract. We are going to get the job done. When it comes to making our communities safer, we've announced that overdose deaths have decreased for 2 straight years in Kentucky. We're one of the only states that's seen 2 straight years. The one we were able to report this last year was a 10% decrease. We'd like to see an even larger decrease, but we're grateful for everybody who works in law enforcement, in treatment, and recovery. We've recorded the 3 lowest recidivism rates in over a decade, and over the last 3 years, homicide rates have declined. We announced a historic expansion of law enforcement basic training in Western Kentucky with a new facility in Madisonville. And I recently signed an executive order establishing the Governor's Council of Second Chance Employers. Those are the first 15 businesses that want to be advocates for giving those coming out of incarceration a second chance, for creating stability, for getting families back together. We're grateful for these companies for the example that they are setting. Well, my faith teaches me that second chances aren't just the right thing. They're what we're called to do, and trying to be smart about it, to teach skills to those that are incarcerated, and then to work with our companies to create a system of employment can not only help in our workforce pipeline, but it'll decrease crime in later years, making our communities safer. This year, we've also continued supporting the recovery and rebuilding efforts in Western Kentucky following the devastating tornadoes in 2021 and recovery after the devastating flooding in Eastern Kentucky in 2022. In the East, we've made a lot of progress on 7 high ground communities that'll bring hundreds of new homes. Infrastructure and road work are continuing at the sites, and new homeowners are moving into homes at 2 of the high ground locations, one in Floyd County. The other is the cottages at Thompson Branch, which we now have more and more people moving in as well. In the West, the Team Western Kentucky Tornado Relief Fund raised over $52 million that helped pay for every funeral, helped people with short-term needs, helped farmers that had been impacted, and is helping to build up to 300 homes in Western Kentucky. To date, we now have over 220 homes completed or under construction just from that fund, with hundreds of more being built by others. So there is so much that I think was accomplished this year. Those are just a few highlights. So to Kentuckians out there, I hope you're proud of this year. You know, even in a year where there was a lot of division nationally, we got a whole lot done. We moved forward in ways that other states aren't, and we did it together. Every highlight that I just gave, in red or blue, Democrat or Republican, it doesn't move us to the right or the left. They all move us forward. This was an exciting year to be a Kentuckian, but buckle up, 2025 is going to be another great year as well. One thing that's going to make it a great year is a program and an opportunity for all of our kids that the First Lady has worked to secure, coming just in time for Christmas. And I'll turn it over to Brittany Beshear.
Good afternoon. I'm excited to join you all today to talk about new resources for our students. I also want to celebrate how Team Kentucky has come together to support each other this Christmas season. First, I want to remind Kentucky families, and Santa, of course, about Winnie's Book Club. She's so excited she's taking a nap. Over the past month, we've shared 22 amazing picture books on social media, and now we get to share the final list with you. These include holiday books, books about Kentucky, and some of our family's all-time favorite stories. I hope everyone gives the gift of reading to a child you love this Christmas, because the impact will be enormous the rest of their lives. Buying a book from Winnie's Book Club is also a great way to support our local bookstores and incredible Kentucky authors. And of course, you can also pick up the stories in Winnie's Book Club at your local public library. Our libraries have more resources for families than ever before, and today I get to tell you about a new one. I'm really excited to announce that Andy's administration is now providing free statewide access to a website that helps bring books to life for our kids and young adults. It's called Teaching Books. It includes thousands of recordings of books, as well as behind-the-scenes activities and resources that teachers, librarians, and parents can use, so they can help students learn more about a new story they've read. This website includes special content about 100,000 books, including a page just for Winnie's Christmas Book Club. The content includes discussion and activity guides, audiobook performances, video book trailers, games, and fun facts about the authors. It also helps you find new books similar to the stories you love the most. Again, Teaching Books is available at no cost. to schools, libraries, and families. Just go to teachingbooks.net and search for the story you're looking for. Every single family should have the chance to read and learn together so that kids can get the best start in life possible. When our son Will was growing up, one of his all time favorite books was Randy Riley's really big hit. He loved to hear it read to him, and when he was able to read, he would read it to us. This is a full circle moment for me and Andy because that book was one of our first selections for Winnie's Christmas Book Club, and it is also featured on the Teaching Books website. You can watch a video where the whole story is read out loud. All you need to do is pull teachingbooks.net up on your cell phone or computer. This book, along with so many others, are really important to our family, and now just before Christmas, we get to share them with all of Kentucky's kids. Once again, this Christmas season, we have seen how Team Kentucky cares for one another and loves one another. I am constantly amazed by our state's generosity and kindness. Over the past month, the Kentucky State Police collected donations across the Commonwealth for its annual Cram the Cruiser food drive. Again in 2024, Kentuckians showed up for their neighbors, donating 204,262 pounds of food to be distributed to local families in need. That's over 42,000 pounds more than what we collected in 2023. For the second year in a row, KSP Post 16 collected the most food, more than 115,000 pounds this year. Since the Cram the Cruiser campaign in 2010, KSP has collected nearly 3 million pounds of food for Kentuckians in need. That's truly incredible. To the state police, thank you for facilitating this campaign each year, giving all of us the opportunity to serve and support those around us. I want to thank Team Kentucky for showing up once again. The amount of food collected shows how much love our people have for one another. We will always wrap our arms around those in need here in Kentucky, and that is especially true during the Christmas season. No family in our state should go hungry, ever. In our new Kentucky home, we're making sure everyone has the support and opportunity they need to thrive. Thanks again to everybody who donated, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you to the Kentucky State Police for your incredible work and generosity. And thank you for the love that Kentuckians showed both to the Kentucky State Police and to each other in Cram the Cruiser. And thank you to the First Lady and her office for now making reading that much more accessible to all kids across the Commonwealth. We read Randy Riley so much, I still have it memorized. I learned at one point, though, that my son had memorized it, and he didn't necessarily hadn't learned to read, a year and a half before anybody else had. But just what a tool. And think about it when you're really busy as a parent, when you got to get something done, but your kids are there. What a thing you could turn to, and they could watch that video of somebody reading. They could see the picture book turn. This is a chance to have important, productive moments, even at the busy pace of life we have. So I'd encourage everybody, take advantage of this tool. It's only going to enrich your young child's life. It's only going to help them get further ahead. So really incredible thing by the First Lady and her office, but I'm not surprised. She works to do incredible things every day. Next, we've got some good news in the fight against addiction in our Commonwealth. Addiction services have now been established to treat more than 63,000 Kentuckians in Floyd, Knott, and Lawrence counties as they've received their Recovery Ready Community certificates. Recovery Ready communities are measured in 3 categories: prevention, treatment, and recovery support. Knott County's been certified for its efforts focused on helping high-risk individuals and communities. The county, which services more than 13,000 Kentuckians, operates a drop-in youth addiction center that connects patients through the hospital system. Lawrence County has been certified for its partnership with a local college to provide more job opportunities for those in recovery while providing additional services to younger Kentuckians aged 16 to 25. And Floyd County operates a youth drop-in addiction center in the community's only youth emergency homeless shelter, which is breaking cycles of addiction. Additionally, the county court system has expanded to include district and circuit drug treatment courts, veterans drug treatment court, and mental health court, which divert those struggling with addiction to recovery resources instead of incarceration. Today, we have the folks that help make this happen with us. We have Floyd County District Judge Tyler Green and Martha Ellis, the County Public Health Director, with us, as well as the application team. Their work was instrumental. So, Judge, if you and the whole team would join us, we'd like to present you with the certificate and then hear a few great words about what's going on in Floyd County. Here you go. Y'all learn this. Anybody like to say a few words about the great service?
Sure.
Owen, please. You have.
Governor, thank you all, and thank you to the team we have. Joining me here on stage are Casey Mikulovic, Tammy Ratliff, and Martha Ellis, who did the hard work here. They were part of the application process, sat through very onerous meetings and lengthy paperwork to get this established. I was asked to say just a few words on what this means for Floyd County, and it means things the governor's already talked about: reduction in recidivism, reduction in overdose deaths. And I've also been asked, how are we doing this in Floyd County? And we're doing it by working together, taking care of our fellow Floyd Countians, taking care of our fellow Kentuckians. We're working hard through our specialty courts programs, which include now drug court, veterans court, and as of January 1, will include mental health court. This year alone in Floyd County, we've had 35 graduates of our specialty courts program, and that's going to continue to grow. Thank you, Governor. Thank you to the General Assembly for funding these mental health courts. And we funded 10 sites this year across Kentucky. Floyd County was lucky enough to make the cut and be a part of that. And we're excited to get started in expanding even more recovery services in our county. One thing the governor touched on in his presentation were the higher ground homes in Floyd County. And that's something that's very personal to me. One of our drug court participants had the opportunity to move into one of those homes.
Oh, wow.
She now has almost 2 years clean, and she will graduate in January. So your work is also leading the recovery efforts in Floyd County and across the Commonwealth. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank y'all for your great work and for being here.
Appreciate everything.
Appreciate y'all. Now that high ground site at Wayland's pretty incredible. I remember a grandfather is going to live there with two other generations walking through and saying, this is the nicest house I've ever lived in. And that's pretty amazing from somebody who had lost everything and had spent better part of 2+ years trying to get back on his feet. You know, you see God in those moments, and watching his grandkids run through and pick out their rooms is a pretty special thing to be a part of. Since the Recovery Ready application launched in January of last year, 21 counties have been certified, bringing increased addiction treatment services to more than 1.4 million Kentuckians. Our goal is 120 counties certified, and we'll keep working until we get there. Next up, we have our medical cannabis program. One of our priorities has been about making medical cannabis available to Kentuckians suffering from chronic and sometimes terminal conditions. Today, on the last Team Kentucky update before the new year, I'm pleased to announce that we have licensed or selected all of our medical cannabis businesses for the launch of our program. Our program will begin accepting applications for medical cannabis cards from Kentucky patients on January 1st, 2025. To apply, Kentuckians will need to obtain an electronic written certification from an authorized practitioner, which they can currently do. They have to submit an application beginning on January 1st, and if approved, receive a digital registry ID card. What does that mean? First, Kentuckians will need to go to a registered practitioner and get their written certification. We're pleased to announce that we currently have registered over 220 doctors and APRNSs in counties and cities across the Commonwealth who can write certifications from Kentuckians who are suffering from qualifying medical conditions. To find a practitioner near you, Kentuckians can visit kymedcan.ky.gov and check out the practitioners directory, which allows them to find a practitioner near them. Folks can also search the practitioners by their specialty. If you are a doctor or a nurse interested in participating in the program, please visit kymedcan.ky.gov and sign up for an informational webinar. Our team will walk you through the process of becoming authorized, registered, and ultimately writing certifications. Our goal from the outset is to ensure that everyone who qualifies has access. Our practitioner directory will ensure that Kentuckians can find a nurse or a doctor near them. Next, patients interested in participating in this program as a cardholder will need to obtain a written certification. That process requires folks to go to their initial in-person appointment, receive a diagnosis or confirmation of a qualifying medical condition, and receive a written certification issued by their practitioner, which will be accessible through the online portal. I'm very pleased to announce that as of today, many Kentuckians have already showed an incredible interest. Since December 1st of 2024, so that's just the last 18 days, over 1,800 Kentuckians have visited one of our registered practitioners and received written certifications. The conditions for which folks have received their certifications are as follows. I think we'll have it up here. As you can see, cancer, chronic pain, where people might have previously been prescribed opioids, chronic nausea. You look down at PTSD, which is certainly, the veteran that stood at this podium and talked about how he'd been able to get off 12 plus prescriptions. How it had turned his life around was an incredibly powerful testimonial that I think led to many in the General Assembly changing their minds. So these folks will be eligible to apply for a medical cannabis card with our office on or after January 1st, 2025. The application portal will be available, again, through kymedcan.ky.gov. If someone you know is interested in learning more, the office is holding monthly webinars for Kentucky patients. So please visit the website and register for one of those available webinars. The work that's gone in to creating a safe system and a system where it is truly based on medical conditions. I've been really proud of the work that's gone in. We are going to have a highly regulated system that is going to ensure that those that qualify are able to get the help that they need, but to prevent any abuses of the system at the same time. We'll have further updates as the businesses get up and running, but until then, my executive order protecting those with qualifying conditions from prosecution if they visit another state and are able to legally purchase medical marijuana will remain in place. We are really close, folks, and it is a long time coming, but I'm excited that we're doing it and doing it right. All right, those of you who watched our daily and sometimes twice daily Team Kentucky updates during the height of the pandemic know what an important role my and a lot of our friends, the late Virginia Moore, played to ensure that everyone had access to the information they needed, especially the 700,000 deaf and hard of hearing Kentuckians. And when devastating tornadoes struck Western Kentucky in 2021, the floods hit Eastern Kentucky in 2022, Virginia and her team of Rachel and Rachel, one of whom is still with us, likely with me on the screen right now. They were right next to me, ensuring everyone knew the risks, that everybody got the information to know how to get help. And since then, all the weather updates that we've given to let people know when dangerous weather could be coming. Sadly, we lost Virginia in May of last year, but her tireless advocacy on behalf of those who are deaf or hard of hearing and the lasting impact she had on everybody continues to live on. To honor her in September, we started a program called More, her last name with an E, Safe Nights. And that provided 750 free weather alert radios specifically adapted for individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing. Think about it. The weather radio makes a noise that wakes you up. But those that are deaf and hard of hearing deserve to be alerted too, to be able to get up and to be safe. It's what Virginia especially would have wanted. As the deaf and hard of hearing community received these radios equipped with a pillow shaker and a strobe light attachment. They're designed to alert people when severe weather is in the area and to give them enough time. Those 750 went really fast. It reminded us how many people that are out there that have lived through very difficult weather events and times, and how many people needed this help. So we immediately began thinking, if 750 went that fast, we need to be providing more. But we didn't have to wait. Today, I'm proud to share that thanks to a donation by Dr. Chris Dawkins and the Community Foundation of West Kentucky, we're now going to provide 750 more radios, bringing the total to 1,500. As Dr. Dawkins said, Virginia was in our homes and hearts, ensuring that critical information was accessible during life's toughest moments. Now, this program continues her work to remind us that our new Kentucky home is about all of us and ensuring opportunity reaches all of us, that every Kentuckian should be safe, should feel valued. And this is a really special program that I think honors her memory. I am really grateful for Dr. Dawkins and the Community Foundation of West Kentucky for what they're doing for our people. I'm also really grateful that he's honoring my friend, who I miss. So to apply for a radio online, visit the Kentucky Commission on the Deaf or Hard of Hearing, which is on the screen, as well as the numbers. And if you're using a video phone, we can have an application mailed to you. After an application is received and processed to certify eligibility, the commission will send all qualified applicants a letter letting them know when and where to pick up the equipment. So a really special gift that's going to help protect people across the Commonwealth. All right. I'm also happy to share news about how Team Kentucky is making an extra step to improve the lives of our people. One way is through improved transportation. So it is no secret that Kentucky is on the forefront of growing the electric vehicle sector. And today I'm excited to announce additional awards to private developers to build a more reliable and convenient fast charging station network across the Commonwealth. Team Kentucky has selected 6 additional developers to build 11 more federally funded fast charging EV stations across the Commonwealth. With these additions, Kentucky will have approved 48 stations from 11 developers for a total of $32.9 million. The latest round of funding includes charging stations that will be built in Bowling Green, Corinth, Hebron, Lexington, Louisville, Manchester, Morgantown, Oak Grove, Paducah, Sadieville, and Williamsburg. In total, we're expected to receive $70 million in funds over 5 years. If we do, we will build a fast charger every 50 miles along each of our interstates and parkways. With matching investments, just the total investment to date is nearly $87 million. All right, next, an important health update. I thought we'd have Dr. Stack. I will do my best impersonation. We're seeing a sharp rise in cases of whooping cough in Kentucky this year. As of December 18th, there have been over 452 cases of this disease across 67 counties in the Commonwealth. Whooping cough is a bacterial infection that is highly contagious. In healthy adults, the disease can present as a persistent cough that can last for months. Whooping cough can be particularly dangerous for vulnerable populations, such as babies and people with pre-existing respiratory issues. The good news is you'll get a much less severe case, or likely not get it all, if you get vaccinated. Listen, I've been diagnosed with low-level asthma. I got vaccinated for whooping cough. It's a safe vaccination, and I know there's a lot of information out there and misinformation out there about vaccines. This is one that can protect you and your loved ones. And I see folks from our health department nodding their heads because it's really important that parents and others get good quality information that can protect lives and prevent the spread of disease. It's recommended that everyone stay up to date on their pertussis, that's the word for whooping cough, vaccination, especially vulnerable people like someone who's immunocompromised. The recommended schedule for the vaccine is 5 doses starting at 2 months of age and finishing before 6 years old, a booster between 11 and 12, along with 1 booster for adults and additional boosters for pregnant women. If you are experiencing symptoms of whooping cough or believe you've been exposed, make sure to talk to your doctor. Meanwhile, make sure you wash your hands, practice good hygiene practices, cover your nose when you're sneezing, and simply stay home when you're sick. Every single one of your coworkers will appreciate you if when you are sick, you stay home. They'll pick up the slack. They'll welcome you back. But please don't get your coworkers sick. And finally, I'm excited to announce a milestone in travel and commerce for Western Kentucky. We have 55 miles of new interstate to provide safer, better connections for families, businesses, and future job growth in our new Kentucky home. We've worked hard to upgrade 34 miles of the Edward T. Breathitt Pennyroyal Parkway to interstate standards in Christian and Hopkins counties. That is complete, and now the Federal Highway Administration has officially accepted that section of Parkway into the National Highway System as Interstate 169. And in Graves, Hickman, and Fulton counties, 21 miles of the Julian Carroll Purchase Parkway have been upgraded and redesignated as Interstate 69, extending that interstate from Mayfield to Fulton. These upgrades represent more than $50 million in investments in transportation and will help us to build out that I-69 corridor. We still have a really important bridge to build, but certainly getting all these other pieces up to interstate standards has been a long time coming and is a major accomplishment. And finally, for our Team Kentucky All-Star, we're 6 days away from Christmas, and we hope your celebration is full of joy, love, and memories with the people that you care about and love. It is a special time of year, and it's a time where certainly my faith reminds us that we're supposed to be good to each other, generous to each other, and kind to each other. Hopefully, it's this time of year that reminds us that we're not supposed to be arguing or yelling at other human beings, that we are all created in the image of God, and we're supposed to love each other and support each other. Today and through Christmas time, it's our job to lift up our friends, families, and neighbors in the spirit of giving. So, for this week's Team Kentucky All-Star, we want to recognize someone who truly embodies the spirit of giving, and that's Santa Claus. Santa brings so much joy to our kids across the Commonwealth, the country, and the world, not just with gifts, but with hope, kindness, and a little bit of magic. So this week, we're recognizing Santa. And I'd say to everybody out there, this is a really talented individual. We've had polar plunges. We've had all types of weather around Christmas before, and he has always made it. So no matter what we see leading up to Christmas in terms of weather or the rest, we know that Santa's going to be there for all of our children. And so to everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays. Remember, life's short, so keep doing good things. Be kind to each other. That's what Christmas is supposed to remind us of. Okay, with that, we'll open it up. As we get close to Christmas, we have one journalist in the studio, the most committed, Tom Latek.
Thank you, Governor. I appreciate that. The Attorney General issued an opinion today by request of the Corrections Department on gender-affirming or gender-changing surgery for inmates, and he said in his opinion that the state should not have to pay for that. Here's your thoughts on it.
Yeah, the questions on the Attorney General's opinion today saying that the state is not required to provide convicted felons in our prisons gender-changing surgery. Let me start by saying I recognize that LGBTQ inmates face a greater risk of violence in some of our facilities and may have certain different healthcare needs. Federal law requires certain safety procedures as well as certain medical coverage for those inmates. But like medical coverage for any inmate, it has its limits. Now, in the end, we look at what's reasonable. And I think what is reasonable is in any circumstance, an inmate, regardless of their gender identity, should not have better access to health care than a law-abiding private citizen in the private sector. And that's what guides me in trying to get to that reasonable point here. So I appreciate the response from the Attorney General. What we'll do now is we'll pull that regulation and redraft it in certain ways consistent with that opinion. But there's also some other federal guidance that is out there that I think could be better incorporated inside the regulation. Next on the line, we have two journalists. First, Karen Czar.
Good afternoon, Governor. Thank you. Governor, my question's twofold. In the last month, we have seen the shooting of a healthcare CEO and another school shooting. The first part of my question is, how is your administration working with Kentucky schools to ensure safety? And then secondly, after the healthcare shooting, we have seen uh, several posts showing a lack of empathy and in fact, flat out stating that they support the suspect because they have been through defend, deny, delay. Is there anything that can be done to hold insurance companies accountable for delaying care? Thank you.
Well, let me first say that violence is always wrong. Murder is always murder, and it's wrong. Uh, this attempt to justify the taking of a life of a human being, regardless of the industry that he's connected to, that's still murder. Um, and it's wrong. And I know the internet is a place of hot takes and of hyperbole, but let's not normalize violence. Let's not normalize murder. Let's not suggest that it's justified in any way. Listen, I've been there. I've been there within my own family and being denied things and not understanding, having to navigate an overly complicated system because our healthcare system is way overly complicated. Everything from drug prices, which is more like a sticker price on a car, for pharmaceuticals that our people need to survive, to the idea that if something is in coverage, it costs one thing, but if it's out, it somehow costs 10 times more. You know, our healthcare system uh, at times feels broken, but also remember that in Kentucky, we have more coverage for our people as compared to the national average as many states, and we continue to work to try to get people the coverage that they need. And the answer is yes. You know, there are laws that we can pass capping the price of insulin, which we did here in Kentucky for certain folks before the federal government acted. Certainly, what we're seeing out of the Biden Harris administration and trying to negotiate down drug prices for Medicaid and Medicare, which lower them for all the rest of us. What we've done in Kentucky with PBMs that were taking an exorbitant profit, and ultimately we were paying for that amount. But we also need the healthcare industry, right, to come forward and to make itself more transparent and more fair to everybody out there. And listen, I would have said that before all this. I don't know that CEO, but he's a human being with a family and loved ones that miss him. It is not okay to talk about that being justified in any way. You know, he is a child of God, just like all the rest of us. In terms of, I mean, especially the Wisconsin school shooting, it's the fear of every parent. You know, I have two high schoolers, and it's something that I worry about. And it's, I mean, we live in a world where we worry when our kids go to school. You know, thankfully in Kentucky, we started taking the steps to try to get an armed SRO in every single school. I wish we didn't have to have one, but if that worst case happens, I want a highly trained individual that's there, ready and willing to protect my kids and everyone else's. Every year, we're making great strides in how many more SROs we have out there in our public and in our private schools. I was also at the ribbon cutting for the new Woodford County High School yesterday, and every school we're building or renovating, we are adding new security measures to the physical plant, to the physical design of each of our schools, because there's some proven methods about having to be in buzz through two doors, having to sign in, that can add that extra level of safety. But we got to keep working and keep working and keep working. And I remember heading to Marshall County just days after that awful shooting. And obviously, I've lost one of my closest friends in a mass shooting too. I mean, again, our world needs to take a step back and we need to, with one voice, say that violence is never the answer. And when it happens, it takes people that we love away from us, that should still be with us, that should still be ready to celebrate this upcoming Christmas. But as we live in the world we live in, we will continue to do everything we can to protect Kentuckians and hopefully set an example that'll protect Americans. All right, last question, Isaiah Kim Martinez.
Thanks, Governor. Following up on the first question with regards to the Attorney General's opinion, is it safe to say you agree with his opinion? And second, what does this mean for other types of non-surgical gender transition treatment for inmates?
Yeah, so I agree with the opinion that federal law does not require taxpayers to fully fund and provide a level of health care to a convicted felon in our state prisons, which typically means an A, a B, or a C felony, which are significant felonies that wouldn't be available to private sector citizens. In other words, if you're a convicted felon in state prison, you shouldn't have better access to less expensive health care than a law-abiding citizen. And while the Attorney General didn't phrase it in that way, that was the ultimate conclusion of that office. Now, it does appear that federal law requires some level of care, just not those surgeries. So I believe you will see in the regulation certain care that is provided to various populations, including the transgender population. It would be unconstitutional and it would be wrong to provide no specialized care at all. And so we're going to try to find that right balance that both respects our duty to provide health care to those that are incarcerated, but at the same time respects our taxpayers and law-abiding citizens and what they have available to them as opposed to those that are incarcerated. Again, I think life's about balance, that everything doesn't have to be a big ideological fight to me. This isn't about gender identity. It's about being an incarcerated convicted felon versus being a law-abiding citizen and just making sure that we have that balance right. Okay, so again, to everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, which starts right in the same period of time. Happy holidays. Take some time off. Take a breath. I don't have to turn on the news every day. Get off social media for a little while. Hug your kids, hug your parents, hug anybody you love as long as they want to be hugged. That's probably pretty important. But just take a moment. I get life can be hard, and there's some tough times around this season for those of us that have lost family in the last year or 2 years. But remember, this life we live is precious. And at least for my faith, this season talks about loving each other, certainly family coming together and celebrating life. And then let's reaffirm as we start the new year to try to be a little bit kinder, to try to be a little bit better, to recognize that we have so many great things and great jobs coming to Kentucky that everybody can succeed, and we don't have to leave anybody behind. Too much division in this world. Christmas for me is supposed to be about unity and love for all of God's creatures, which are every single one of us. All right, we will be back after a 2-week break because I don't think anybody wants to be here January 2nd. So we'll see you then that next week with our next Team Kentucky update.